More details on the 2G auctions. Our correspondent Sidhant Sibal is in Delhi. National Capital is tracking the story. Sidhant, give us more details on that 30% price lowered by the government compared to last time, which was decided in November 2012. What's more input do you have?
Well, the four main decisions were taken today. First, I'll tell you about the GSM band, that is the 1800 megahertz band and the 900 megahertz band. In 1800 megahertz band, the unsold spectrum, which then got sold in the last auction, that is the auction which took place on 12th of November and just lasted only for 2 days. There were four circles, that is Delhi, Mumbai, Karnataka and Maharashtra. They didn't got any bidders. They were virtually unsold. So the government has decided to lower the reserve price, which is the minimum you have to shell out to buy a single, a certain megahertz. The loading will be around 30%. For the 900 megahertz band, three circles will be put on auction, that is the Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and in which 15 megahertz for Delhi and Mumbai will be put on auction, and Kolkata 12.5 megahertz. I'll tell you what that meant. That means companies bidding for the 900 megahertz band can now bid for a maximum 15 megahertz band in Delhi and Mumbai and 12.5 megahertz in Kolkata. Now coming to the CDMA thing, CDMA which got no bidders in the last auction, that is the 12th of November. The EGOM has decided to lower the reserve price by 30 to 15%. Now the recommendation will go to the cabinet and it will finally decide whether to lower it or not. Both the auction for the CDMA and the GSM will take place by the end of this fiscal year. For the GSM, that is the 1800 and the 900 megahertz band, it will be on 11th of March, and for CDMA it's likely to be concluded by end of March. And the last decision which was taken, the auctioneer, that is the company which under whose guidance all the auction takes place, will be same, that is the procurement technologies. This was a company which did all the auction process for the last auction which took place on the 12th of November. Well, the government is expecting to garner around 20,000 crore rupees from the whole auction process, which is will be started on 11th of March. The last auction, government only was able, from the GSM auction, government was only able to garner around 9,000 crore rupees. It was expecting around 28,000 crore rupees, but as everyone knows, the high reserve prices were a big dampener. Well, I'll tell you how will the whole spectrum auction process will be important for both of us, in a sense, everyone, the Aam Aadmi. Well, government has two ways by which it can garner revenue for this fiscal. The main two ways, one is the disinvestment and one is the spectrum auction. The rising fiscal deficit, the government expects the fiscal deficit at around 5.3%. The Kelkar report has come out with a humongous digit, that is 6.1%. Well, the government has to lower the fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit, I'll explain you what is it. It's the difference between your expenditure and your revenue. The government has high expenditure and the revenue sources are virtually dying.
Sidhant, sorry to interrupt you here, but I want to ask a question that have you got in touch with any industry players? What was the demand earlier? And the news is coming from the import of ministers. Do you believe that those demands are fulfilled, or many of them are still to be awaited?
Well, of course, the idea struck after the news coming that the lowering of the whole spectrum reserve price has obviously jumped a lot, and it has reached a 52-week high. Of course, it is now, we can expect, is a positive news. In the last auction, when it took place on 12th of November, the industry was saying that the government has fixed the reserve price as very high. So much so, for the CDMA, it was 1.3 times. And that is why there was no taker for the CDMA band. And for GSM also, very few companies, and virtually it was a damn squib. But ultimately, it seems the government is listening now to the industrialists, and well, it has, in a sense, this time lowered the reserve price. And the CDMA, the news which came, the 30 to 50%, will now go to cabinet. And of course, from looks of it, we believe that it will get a nod. And this time around, we can see the reserve prices being lowered for the both GSM and the CDMA band.
Absolutely.